What happened to the good old days when we could beat the shit out of somebody and nobody gave a damn?
Recording started.
It's got an infrared light. Lights
Hey.
up your fucking face.
Just tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
We're here at the Schertz, Texas Police Department.
Yeah, here we go.
We noticed that two vehicles were unsecured.
Schertz Police Department, how can I help you?
Hi, who am I talking to?
My name is Starla, how may I help you?
Starla, my name is Jack Miller. We came out here and checked the vehicles out there, and there's two vehicles that are unsecured. They're unlocked. And
Sorry, which vehicles are what?
there's two vehicles out there. I think they're, what are they, parks or something like that? Development. Two trucks, and there's some, stuff inside of them. They're unlocked.
Okay, which parking lot are they in?
This one right out here.
Okay, did you
and
want
it-
to leave your name and number with us?
I'm not gonna bother anybody.
Oh, no, sir, I'm not saying that, I'm just asking if you wanted to leave your information. So two of the park and rec
Yeah,
structures
yeah.
are unlocked?
Yeah. Then we would like them
We'll
secure.
go ahead and have somebody check it out. We appreciate
Yeah.
your diligence.
We would like them secure. We don't want them stolen, right? That's going to cost everybody money. So if somebody could just
We appreciate your concern. Thank you. We'll go ahead and have an officer come in.
let you know, I'm not going to mess with them. You guys have done excellent. Thank you very much. I think that's probably a very small cancer, and it's not systemic, obviously. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right, and as soon as-
You have a pleasant evening.
As soon as we can get those vehicles secure, we're
Yes,
out.
sir. I'll have to call an officer and we can't go
Okay.
out there, but we'll have
Right.
an officer check it out.
As soon as they're secure, we're out of here.
Okay.
In the meantime, we'll be watching the vehicles.
Okay.
All right, thank
so
you.
much.
If you want to be hogging the fucking driveway,
That is true.
Okay, guys, they just arrived.
That one? That one. What's up, guys?
What's up?
We were hoping to have like no contact at all. Okay. All right. Have I been out on your traffic stops before? You guys? I don't recall people's faces.
I'm not sure.
All right.
How you doing, sir?
From what I can understand, so far, what I gather is that this is a small cancer. It's not systemic. Okay. Just so you know why I'm here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I came out to see if it's a systemic thing, which when I saw it, I was like, fuck, really? Okay, because I've dealt with you guys, open carry, the whole 9 yards, right? So anyway, enough said about that. But anyway, we found two trucks that were unlocked, and it's this one here and it's this one here.
Okay.
And then while you guys are doing that, I have some questions that I know you're probably not going to want to answer, but I'm gonna ask them anyway.
Sure, go ahead. No problem.
How long does it take, or how long is it going to take for the investigation to be complete? I mean, how long does it normally take a police officer to investigate something like this that has occurred?
That usually varies depending on how many people are involved and how many people that have to be interviewed and things like that. I
Yeah.
can't give you a definitive date, time,
Yeah, right.
or
Of
how
course
many
not.
days it's going to take, but it all depends. And in this situation, obviously, you saw the video. There's multiple officers involved that all have to be interviewed, and then obviously the persons involved that all have to be interviewed. And it's I can't give you a definitive time and timeline of how that goes.
Right,
You're more than
right.
welcome to contact our lieutenant.
How
about
long-
it.
how long-
I don't think
how
he
long
could
would it-
give you one either.
How long would it take? How long do you think it would take you to investigate something such as that?
Of that magnitude,
Yeah.
like I said, I couldn't give you a timeline. Everything's dependent on people's schedules too, and I'm not talking about
Right.
our schedules. I'm talking about the general public schedules that we have to interview them and when they can come in and when they want to talk to us.
Yeah.
When it's convenient for them. To
It
talk.
seems to me that Alamo Heights police chief made a policy and put it into effect that a situation involving possible officer misconduct, they do not need anyone to come in and complain. If he's aware of it and he comes in and reviews arrests, all the arrests, he'll review all the arrests for the night. and he'll pull reports, he'll pull body cams, and if he sees anything improper, he is now the complainant, and it's done. He never needs to talk to any, let's say, victims or witnesses.
Okay.
He'll try, but you know, in a situation where he sees an officer do something and he knows that right there is a no-go, the chief makes the complaint, initiates the investigation, it's done, and then they take the appropriate action. Do you know, does
Right, we
Schertz
can-
have that type of thing
we
where
have-
the
we have a
chief
policy
or
like
a police
that.
officer can
Yes, they
initiate?
can initiate it, and they can go from there. And obviously, with something of this magnitude,
So if you saw something you felt was officer misconduct, and the officer misconduct involved a citizen, but the citizen did not want to complain because they're scared maybe, you could initiate that complaint, and a thorough investigation and even final discipline could occur without that citizen coming forward. Is that?
oh yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay.
Like if I saw some sort of misconduct, we have an internal complaint form that we generate, and it would go up the chain of command and be assigned to an investigator and things like that. And the chief of police determines who's going to investigate it depending on who it is. Like obviously, a police officer would investigate a complaint on a
Right.
on a supervisor.
But a city staff or a police officer could
Right.
say, hey, this ain't right. I'm the
right,
complainant.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
he could file an internal complaint. Like if he saw some sort of misconduct on me, or that I committed, he could file that internal complaint, and then it would be forwarded up the chain of command to the chief of police, and he would designate who the investigator would
That
be.
policy is contrary to, let's say, SAPD. SAPD, sure, an officer can come and say this was wrong, but if the civilian never comes to complain, they will not investigate it, which is a poor policy. But you guys are opposite of that.
I
So
didn't even know that. Yeah.
that, give a thumbs up on that. Well, trust me, I got that on film. They're explaining to me that's how it works. I'm the one trying to complain. Well, it didn't happen to you. Okay, anyway, but you guys aren't like that. I appreciate that part. Do you know if these people don't want to come and complain because they fear the common fears that we have when we complain against police? Some of them are founded, some of them are unfounded, but there's a general fear in doing that sometimes. And if they don't want to come forward and complain, are you guys aware of any police officers that are stepping up yet and saying, hey, that's not right, I want to complain about that? Because I was in law enforcement for 13 years, and I've been through the same exact training you guys have been through. Pressure point pain compliance, defensive tactics, officer survival, even the off-site stuff. And you guys can confirm or not, but when you lift a leg off the ground to do a strike, you now put yourself in a vulnerable position. It's not something we do. It's not something you train to do. And when you do something you're not trained to do, when you have a whole list of things you could do that you're trained to do, that's an issue. Now, aside from that, when an officer tells someone who's not committing a crime, if I was a police officer and I saw somebody, I saw you, for instance, you're Officer who? McClendon. If I saw you tell somebody who was on their private property, if you don't relax, you're going to get it. It meaning exactly what's happening right here. And in this case, it was a takedown, a taser, some knee strikes or foot strikes or whatever that was. So I'm telling you, you're not committing any crime, but if you don't relax, this is what's going to happen to you. And we all know that a person doesn't have to relax, and that's not a crime. If I saw that, I would say, wait a minute. Now, if I told you, if you don't stand here and listen to me, I'm going to tase you, take you to the ground, and kick you. And I told you that. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go get my gun, and I'm going to shoot you if you don't listen to me. You would put me in handcuffs because that is terroristic threat. It meets every definition of every element. So if I saw a police officer tell a citizen who's not breaking any law, you're fixing to get bodily injury if you don't relax, to me that's a crime. And I would feel compelled to at least say, no, here's my complaint. I just witnessed a crime. Do you know if anybody's willing to do that yet?
I don't. I know there is an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
And in the interest of the police department, we do want to remain transparent. It's kind of this is who we are, and this is what we do, and we'll be investigated, and then there will be an outcome. I don't know of any of that. I'm not privy to that information at this point.
That's reasonable.
In this investigation at my level.
That's reasonable. One last question. Trying to figure out how to ask this. The statement that was put out by Schertz, basically in a nutshell, it said, yeah, we know we're not saying nothing. There's an investigation going on. And that's a problem for me because it doesn't say anything about the officers who threatened or who appear to have threatened the homeowners, the officer that was delivering the strikes, which appear to be something that I don't think is okay. It's probably not against policy, but it's not something you do. These
Cancel the other
officers,
units, please.
these officers, in my opinion, should not be on the street right now during the investigation. Should they be fired? No, that's ridiculous. But they should be offered, hey, take some vacation time. You can come back when we're done with the investigation, considering what occurred, or administrative leave with pay. Now, I called down here today and I asked, that was my only question, is, hey, are these folks still out on the street? I was laughed at. So I said, hey, you know what? Can you forward my information to the police chief? Police chief told me last year there was ever any problems with the officers, just call dispatch, tell them, give my number and I'll contact you.
Right.
Okay, so that didn't happen today. And the only question I had was, are the officers still out on the street? If they're not on the street and they're on administrative leave with pay or whatever, and I got no beef because
Right.
I've never ran into anything wrong with
That's
Schertz. But if they're out on the street, then now I feel compelled to put some cameras out on the street and watch these officers 24/7 until that investigation is complete and we figure out, did they do something wrong or not? So I ask you the same thing. Are the officers still out on the street, or are they going to be out on the street before the investigation is complete?
That's another question I can't answer. I don't have that information
I
at
w-
my level at this point.
I certainly would suggest, and I want to push to you, and maybe you can let the other folks know. That is, come on, it's a legit concern. It's a legit concern. I mean, we need to know. So now, because I don't know, I'm going to have to spend the next day or two or however long it takes for the investigation getting people out and trying to track down and figure out, okay, what's that officer's name? Who's that officer? Was he on scene? Was she on scene? It would save
I
me a
understand.
lot of time if I could just at least know, are the officers out there and because a majority of the people feel that these officers are a threat, okay, until they're corrected at least, right? Until if they did something wrong, you're going to do it again until you're corrected, right? Some people will anyway. That's the feeling. So the concern is, are they still out there? And I can't get an answer. And I think in the future, that's probably something that should be included in a statement regarding an investigation into police misconduct. So anyway, I just want to put that forward.
Yes, sir. No, we understand, and
I appreciate your time. I'm not going to bother you guys anymore. We can get the vehicle secure. We're out of here.
Yeah, I guess
okay.
I'm gonna have to email
Take care
somebody
of that
about this
now.
vehicle
Oh,
being
and
unsecured.
let me
I
just
am Sergeant
ID.
Danny Trevino,
Danny Trevino, and your badge number?
0533, sir.
0533. And then you, officer, your name and badge number?
John McClendon, 1462.
All right, thank you. Do y'all have any questions for me?
No, other than your name. I've heard the stories and heard, seen some of the videos. But
Somebody, a Bear County deputy last night when he told me to shut up, when he interrupted me and the lieutenant talking, and I'm like, hey, dude, chill out for a second. I'm talking to the lieutenant. Just shut up. And he goes, no, you shut up. He says, why are you out always antagonizing the police officer? And I said, he asked me, Bear County deputy, why are you always out antagonizing police officers? And I say, you meant to say educate, right? Because that's what I do. I just educate. That's all.
I don't think
And
I don't think this was antagonistic at all.
I try to improve. I try to improve through
There are some
education.
out there that do that, but it's not us.
Well,
No, I just don't
I'm,
think.
I'm the
think this
guilty.
was-
I am the guilty culprit. I try to improve through education,
And
and when
awareness.
I meet resistance, then I turn into the devil.